What's up, gentlemen? It's Chris, and today I'm bringing a truth to you that you and I do both know very, very well, which is that the world is absolutely fucked. Right? Before you click off this video or you think that we're connecting through some type of self-pity or some type of nihilistic worldview, I want to say that's not at all what it is. And if you have that mentality of a victim, you self-pity, you loathe, or just in general, you have a more nihilistic worldview, I challenge you to snap out of that bullshit, because it's only going to fuck your life even more than the world is already setting it up to be fucked, right? And again, right, the reason why I'm bringing this truth to you is because it's important for you and I to be aware of the world that we live in. I think of those wild hogs, and they run across the river, and what they think they're stepping over is a log, but instead it's a crocodile, and that crocodile grabs the pig, it twists them up, and it pulls them underwater where they drown, right? That is the world that you live in, right? And you're no wild pig for the most part, but you do still have traps that you are stepping over in your every single day life as you are crossing the river, right? Trying to get from the man you are today to the man that you should be, right? But rather than it being a crocodile, it's things like porn, it's things like alcoholism, it's things like weed, and it's things like just simply simping over girls, trying to go out and bag some shorties at the club so you can feel some external validation for the night, right? Those are all traps, and the world has laid those traps before you to keep you from being the person that you are supposed to be. That is the truth, and I know you feel that in your soul. All right? So, of course, this is not a call to live in fear, but it is a call to overcome it. And how do you do that? You do that through strength and through wisdom. All right? You already have a number of life experiences, just like I, that have, built strength in you and built wisdom in you. But you have to be willing to, hold to that strength and hold to that wisdom. Right? And what I mean by that is not continuing to repeat your mistakes, right? One that I used to experience so much is that I started smoking weed when I was very young, when I was about 13, maybe even 12 years old. I say 13, but the point is that I started smoking weed when I was very, very young, right? I have two great parents, and my childhood was genuinely overwhelmingly good and positive, but my sister did have mental health issues, and so there was things that would occur in my house from time to time when I was growing up that my parents wanted to protect me from. All right, and in protecting me, they would go and they would send me over to one of my friends' house, so I didn't have to experience the kicking and the screaming and the being pulled out of the house by people on a stretcher, all types of shit that, when you're a kid would potentially fuck you up a little bit, right? And to, like I said, save me from that, they would send me over to my buddy's house, and that's where I started smoking weed, right? And at the time, I had no idea that what I was doing was coping, right? And that was the first time that I began to traverse the river and was attacked by a crocodile, we'll say, right? And that continued all throughout my high school years and into my adult life, right? When I broke up with my most recent girlfriend, it was hard for me. And of course, I was heartbroken. And so for a time, I numbed out the pain, right? I started smoking weed. And, what was supposed to be just one joint turned into 2 to 3 months of just straight daily smoking. Okay, and that's how easy it is for you to be grabbed and dragged under the water in these moments and drowned, right? And I could have lost my life entirely. And if you think that you're above that and that that's not possible for you, go walk out the streets in any major city and look at all the crackheads, homeless people on the side of the road. You think at one point they didn't think that that was a position they were going to be in? Right? If you think that, then you are absolutely naive. And again, naivety is going to be your downfall if you are not aware of the fact that these dangers that you are stepping over, they can really kill you. right? You see the vision of the person that you could be and all the potential that you have. So don't think that that can't be taken at any moment. You go out with your buddies and you drink alcohol and you get fucked up and you say, I'm gonna drive home. You know who Henry Ruggs is, right? Millions of dollars, fame, notoriety. He could have had it all. But he got in his car when he was drunk and he crashed and he killed somebody. He killed somebody with his bad decisions. And now his life is over. Or he'll spend the rest of it in jail, so it might as well be. I'm sure a part of him wishes he died that night. That is a reality that you live in. Don't be naive to it. All right? So again, I don't say all this to scare you or to have you be living in fear. But be wise enough to learn from your mistakes and not continue to make those same decisions. All right? I kind of ranted off on some other stuff, but I remember I used to smoke weed, and every single night after I would smoke weed, I would get high and I would immediately wish I was sober. Every single time. I was like, God, I wish I didn't smoke. Why did I smoke? I didn't want to smoke until I was sober again. And the noise started playing again in my head and the emotions that I wanted to avoid because I wasn't strong enough or wise enough to not do those things at that time. Like I said, those noises got loud and I wanted to drown them out, so I continued to make those mistakes. So you cannot do that, all right? So how do you actually overcome it, Chris? You're just fucking babbling on about a bunch of bullshit, right? Tell me how to actually overcome it. What did you do, right? All right, how you overcome these things in your life is that you give yourself the tools to overcome them, right? And what's another word for tools in this situation? It is the standards. You have to raise your standards for yourself. You have to raise your standards for your life, okay? Because you now live in a world where you don't have to, right? You could survive off of minimum wage, and you could probably smoke weed every single day as long as you kept it at your house. You could smoke weed every day. You could eat like shit, and you could live the most mediocre life of all time, because the world does not demand you to grow anymore. The same way that as we, evolutionized in our biology, the way that it was demanded. You no longer have to go out and hunt. You no longer have to, be the strongest man to attract a mate anymore, right? You got your dating apps, and, there's gonna be a lot of chicks, let's just be real, they're gonna be pretty nasty by 35, and if they're not still married, they could potentially be looking for a man like you if you don't get your shit together, okay? And I know, again, that that's not the life that you're meant to live. And if you're watching this video, I think that you have a lot more potential than that you can live up to, okay? But again, the world doesn't demand that of you, so you have to demand it from yourself. You have to have higher standards for yourself, right? Because you've heard it before, but nobody is coming to save you. Nobody. You have to save yourself, okay? And, if you don't demand more from yourself, then you'll be lost and you'll be wandering. And, you may drown in that river, be pulled down by the crocodiles, whatever it might be, okay? And something that I think is just so important, and I'm looking at my notes here, so I kind of know what I'm talking about, but the world will not respect you until you respect yourself, right? And, in practicality, what that looks like, the most important thing is being a man of your word. If you say that you are going to do something, you need to do it. It is so, so, so important, because every single time that you make a promise to yourself and then you break it, you lose more self-respect, right? And then the next time that you set a goal and you feel unmotivated to get to it, it's because subconsciously that's been stored in your mind, that you gave up and you gave up and you gave up. And that reinforces to your mind that the safest thing to do is to just not even try anymore, to just be unmotivated because of the guilt and the shame and the disappointment that you felt. Maybe you didn't feel it consciously, but subconsciously, I guarantee it, deep down in your internal world, you felt let down by yourself. And so now it's just that much harder. But the thing is that you can continue to build your self-respect by being a man of his word. All right, so you need to start going to the gym. That is the very, very first thing, is you need to exercise, you need to work out, you need to build your body, and you need to build your discipline, right? Whether you start at 3 days a week, 4 days a week, it doesn't matter. You need to put some sort of schedule together for yourself so that you can go to the gym and execute, okay? And through that, you will begin to build the discipline. Your diet should come right alongside that. You should be eating whole foods that are gonna give you the right amount of energy, right? Because there's no discipline in driving to McDonald's and getting a Big Mac. There's no discipline in going to Cane's and getting some bullshit Caniac combo and telling yourself, oh, well, you know, high protein. No, that's bullshit, okay? You need to feed your body in a way that actually supports your biology, okay? And I'm not gonna get too much into the fitness side of things right now. But yeah, holistic foods, and start a training program, okay? Cook your own food. Stop relying on other people for your survival all the time, okay? Quit relying on people to regulate your nervous system for you. You shouldn't need to go sleep with some random chick, right? Because you're sleeping with her for the validation, but maybe a little bit for the cuddles out there. You know, you want somebody to run her fingers through your hair so you don't feel so damn alone, right? You need to be able to comfort and regulate yourself through discipline and through building something of your life, okay? Stop watching porn, stop beating your shit to pixels all the time, and actually find some willpower within yourself, right? And again, I just want to say that you have the option right now, okay? And you can either sink into darkness, or you can take up your responsibility as a man to rise and be a light for this world, okay? You are meant to be a leader, okay? I'm not gonna just be leading the world alone, because I promise you're going to continue to see me, and I'm going to be leading by example. But I can't do it alone, because not everybody is gonna resonate with me. I'm a different person than you are. And so I need you to also rise, to also discipline yourself, and to be a man who follows through on his word so that you can be the example for the people that I can never reach. I need your help, right? The world needs you, and I know that that can feel like a heavy responsibility to think, man, like I don't even have my shit together, okay? But it starts today. You don't have to wait to take action. You don't have to wait to be, you know, the person that you are meant to be. You need to embody that person right now, right? Put something together. Get some kind of structure in your life, like I said, for your workouts, whatever it may be, right? Take care of your spirit, man. I could not say this enough, that your spirit is what guides you, right? When you think of the word intuition, right? If you don't know what that means, it means inner knowing, okay? And if you don't believe in frequencies or manifesting things, then you're delusional, not me, okay? Because these things have been studied, right? And, you know, the intuition that you have, it comes from your alignment. So again, if you're going off and you're beating your shit to pixels and you're drinking alcohol and you're smoking weed, you are lowering your frequency. And then your intuition is going to lead you down a path that goes away from the life that you want. So take care of your spirit. Visualize the life that you desire, the life that you're meant for, and believe it, because you'll start to vibrate at that frequency, and your intuition will guide you down a completely different path than the one that you've been walking. Right? You can make it across the river. You can kick those fucking crocodiles in the teeth, knock them out, flip them off, and make it to the other side and be the man that you are supposed to be, but it's not going to come without trial, without error, and without effort. All right, so give it a fair shot today. Don't wait until tomorrow. You don't learn to ride a bike by reading about riding a bike. You have to sit your ass on the seat and pedal, and that's how you're gonna make it to your destination, right? Look at me just throwing bars out here, okay? But again, you can't self-pity, man. You have to be the solution. So be the solution for yourself first, but so that you can be the solution for the world after. All right? Give me a follow on Instagram. Give me a subscribe, a like, whatever. I'm not really too concerned with all that shit, but it'd be nice. You know, I'd like to see the numbers going up. So if you like my message and you want to be a part of the community that I'm building, I encourage you to do all those things. Go check me out, and I'll see you later this week or you know, on Sunday school. Check out my Sunday school videos too. I'm just giving you a whole bunch of shit to do. Wow. Yeah. Fuck. Anyway, Yeah, check me out. Go be the solution. I'm done yapping.